Hey, what is happening? You desperately in need of a shower shuppet. Shiny Treasure EX, our January special set, has been fully revealed. Now, there's not a whole ton to go over. There's only 17 new cards. It is a reprint slash kind of more collector-based set, but some of them are pretty good. Over half of them are bad, so there's really not that much to get into. Before we jump into it, though, I want to give a quick shout out to TC Evolutions, who sponsors me here as on the YouTube channel and with my live streams, and then also as a competitive player. I've been using their products long before I started working with them, but I'm so happy to be working with them because they make great, high-quality dice slash damage counters and markers. So if you want to not only beat your opponent but flex on them, then definitely check out tcevolutions.com. Link, of course, will be in the description, and you can use code AzulGG over there as well to get yourself a discount. With that said, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Only a couple cards to take a look at, so let's not waste any time. We got the Espathra EX, 260 HP. I think there's some potential for this card. It's Terra Pokemon, Dazzling Gaze. As long as this Pokemon is in your active or is in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon cost colorless more. So it is quite an annoyance for quite a few decks. Stuff like Charizard really doesn't want to attach 3 energy to their Charizard. Guardy obviously isn't going to have a problem with this, but decks like Miraidon and stuff like that really aren't trying to attach an extra energy to attack for turn. So I think there is this ability itself could be disruptive enough to kind of carry Espathra to being a meta deck. The ability is very good. Now, the attack definitely leaves a little bit to be desired, to be honest. It does not that ridiculously powerful. Psy Ball for Psychic does 30 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both Pokemon, both active Pokemon. So you could run this with Xatu, probably, of course. You could even play double turbo energy. If you attach a double turbo to your Espathra, you're effectively doing, it does reduce the damage you do by 20, but you'd be effectively doing 40 damage for your energy attachment as opposed to 30 damage for your energy attachment. And you got the ability in there. You're forcing your opponent to attach an extra energy to their active Pokemon, so you're getting plus 30 damage there. It's going to be hard to build up to like any one-hit KO potential, I feel like, but should be able to like, pretty consistently 2-hit KO most Pokemon. You can definitely 1-hit KO stuff like a Miraidon if they don't have a Bravery Charm, or if you can get rid of their Bravery Charm or something like that. But some potential here with the Espathra, nothing ridiculous. We got a couple inclusions, I guess, for currently already standard decks. You got the Charmeleon. It's 90 HP Charmeleon, which is nice for level ball. 2 fires to do 50 is not quite as good as the other 90 HP Charmeleon that is used to do 70 damage to KO Mimikyu. So this thing 2-hit KO and Mimikyu is definitely a big step down for that. But the ability is really good. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Damage is on effect. So I'll stop the damage by the Lost Mine from Sableye, which is a pretty big deal. I feel like in TM Evo Charizard now, you'll just play these Charmeleons, and you won't even play the 100 HP Charmeleon anymore, because the extra HP doesn't matter. I guess you could still play Manaphy, I guess, for... I guess you have to choose. Maybe you do like a split of them, because some lists have been cutting Manaphy, because you don't need Manaphy if your whole bench is protected from Greninja, which you can do because Bidoof is protected from Greninja, and then if you evolve to the 90 HP or 100 HP Charmeleon, the Greninja Snipe only doing 90 damage there isn't enough to KO it. But this thing not being able to be sniped off from Sableye is great, because then you don't need to have Jirachi on your bench to protect your Charmanders if you can TM Evo them into these Charmeleons or evolve them to the Charmeleons before Sableye's online. And also it stops TM de-evolution, which might become the bigger reason to play this Charmeleon, is it can't be TM de-evolved, because that is an effect of an attack. The TM evolution is an attack, and that is an effect to de-evolve your opponent's Pokemon. So you could theoretically have like a Charizard in your active and a Charmeleon on your bench, and even if the Charmeleon is damaged and the Charizard is damaged, if they use TM de-evolution, the Charizard would go to a Charmander and get KO'd, but the Charmeleon would stay a Charmeleon, and then you can just evolve the Charmeleon into the Charizard and then start attacking with the Charizard again. So yeah, Charmeleon's going to be a pretty sick inclusion for Charizard. You know, it doesn't hurt to have around. Got the Frigibax here, another 70 HP Frigibax. Still has 2 retreat cost, but this one actually has like a pretty good early game attack compared to the other one. The other one does like, what, 20 damage for 2 energy, or 30 damage for 2 energy and 50 damage for 3 energy. This one's got Collect for a water, which is definitely an improvement, I think, over the other Frigibax. You sometimes attacked with the other 70 HP Frigibax to do 50 damage to KO a Shiny Arcana Gardevoir, but it almost never came up, and you could always use Greninja as well as the attacker to get that knockout. So I think this Frigibax probably replaces the current 70 HP Frigibax that people are running, just because you can actually do something on your first turn going second when you open this thing and it gets stuck in your active because it has 2 retreat cost. Kind of got to play it, but it is really annoying. Moving right along, we got the Mime Junior, 30 HP, free retreat, which is always great, and it's got that make-believe copycat for 0 energy. Your opponent chooses one of their Pokemon's attacks, use that as this attack. So this is a very situational card that if some decks just become good enough then it is possible to run, because being able to attack for, like, I don't know, if you look at something like an Arceus Duraludon deck, especially pre-rotation, when it was only Arceus and only Duraludon on the deck, you didn't play any other Pokemon. Once your opponent, sets up the Arceus and Duraludon, you could just like push up Mime Jr. and then you get to copy one of their attacks. They get to pick the attack, but you're either doing 100 or 200 damage and searching your deck for 3 energy to set up on a V Pokemon, which, I don't know, maybe there won't be that many V Pokemon moving forward, or you get to do 220 damage. I guess Arctura is not really a deck right now, but you get the example. If a deck like Arctura becomes popular, this would be a pretty good tech card against them. One prize attacker that can do, like a 200 to 220 damage for free is pretty good, but it just has to wait for the right deck to become popular. So cool tech card that you're definitely going to want to have around. We got a new Gimme Ghoul, but I think this is worse than the other 2 Gimme Ghouls. The other 50 HP Gimme Ghoul has Call for Family for 1 basic, and then there's a 70 HP Gimme Ghoul, which the value of that one is a 70 HP. I don't think its attacks are very good, honestly. Thinking back on it, I've never used an attack or thought about their attacks, so I'm assuming the attacks are bad on the 70 HP Gimme Ghoul. This is another 50 HP Gimme Ghoul. It's got Hide in Treasure Chest, literally telling you exactly what it's trying to do. For a colorless energy, flip a coin of heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon, which is okay. You do want to protect your Gimme Ghouls. You don't really want your Gimme Ghouls getting knocked out. You want to get them to the Golden Goes before they get KO'd. But I think I'd rather just Call for Family for another Gimme Ghoul, because, even if you get heads on this, if your opponent has an escape rope or bosses a bench Gimme Ghoul, and you also have to get heads. If you just get tails, they're going to knock you out anyways, and now you don't have an extra Gimme Ghoul on your bench. So I think I still favor the Call for Family 50 HP Gimme Ghoul over this one. Got the Great Tusk X, 250 HP. Got the Quaking Destruction. If this Pokemon is in your active spot, at the end of your turn, discard the top 5 cards of your deck. So this card probably has to be played with Paths to the Peak, so you shut off your own ability, so you're not milling 5 cards at the end of every turn. Although it might come up once or twice, because your opponent's going to bump your stadium, and if you whiff your next Paths to the Peak, then you might be milling 5. And then for fighting Colorless, you do 260. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's not bad. Just a flat 260 effective shred attack. It does cost a lot of energy fighting Colorless. But we do have Koraidon in the format to get the first one going. We got double turbo energy. So there's ways to set this thing up and get it going. And one thing with Pokemon like this is it doesn't look great. Nothing really stands out as being like broken. It doesn't have like a seemingly, the ability kind of sucks actually. The attack's not broken. It is a basic, but it's just like the stats are so high. 250 HP on a basic, it's pretty good. You can put it is an ancient Pokemon as well. Oh, so you have Sada's. What am I thinking? It's an ancient Pokemon. I forgot that was an ancient Pokemon. You have Sada's. You can load it up with Sada's. We're cooking. So you got Sada's for it. 250 HP is a lot. You put the ancient energy booster capsule on there. We're looking at 310 HP. That's a lot. You're doing 260 damage. That's a lot. It's kind of coming together for this one. There's a lot of the stats. Once the stats gets high enough, it doesn't matter how weird and awkward and seemingly not broken the card is. If the stats are high, the stats are high. The stats are pretty high on this one. Will it be high enough? Gonna have to wait and see on this one. Definitely gonna be giving this one a try as well. Like I said, with the Aspathra, the Great Tusk also has potential. The next EX I don't really think has any potential is the Iron Treads EX. Got 220 HP, metal colors, clad, rolling 150 damage. You may discard a future booster energy capsule attached to this Pokemon. If you do, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 150 less damage from attack. So you only got 220 HP, so you're getting 1-hit KO'd by a lot of stuff. If you do have the future booster energy capsule and discard it, you're not getting 1-hit KO'd, but you're not really 1-hit KO'ing anything either by only doing 150 damage. So yeah, I don't think the Iron Treads is going to cut. I don't have too much to say about the Iron Treads. Moving right along, the card that is probably the best card coming out of this set. All the trainer cards besides this kind of suck, right? The new ones, yeah, they're not very good. The best card coming out of the set by far, and I think will definitely shake things up for Lost Box, is the Crisis Shot Technical Machine. We're not done with TMs yet. They're coming at us with another one. Colorless, you can do 280 damage, but you can only use this attack if your opponent has 1 prize card remaining. But you know what can use TM Machine or TM Evolutions or TM Technical Machine tool cards for free? Cramorant. And you know what deck can kind of pretty consistently force your opponent to only take single prize knockouts, so it's guaranteed that they always end up on 1 prize card at the end of the game? Lost Box with Crisis Shot, I think will be crazy. Being able to do 280 damage with a Cramorant at the end of the game, that changes things up for sure. That is something that Lost Box has never really had the potential. This is like a new tool for Lost Box. It's not like they have something similar to this that's as easy to pull off as the Crisis Shot. You kind of do have Radiant Charizard to hit for 250, but it's not 280, and it also involves finding the Charizard, getting into the active. Well, you just gotta get the Cram in the active. But if you like bench Charizard ahead of time and it gets boss KO'd, you sometimes can have it in benched ahead of time. But you can put a Cram down. You can have 2 Crams down. Your opponent can't do anything about it. You can go chase your Cram. There's no way. Get the Crisis Shot on there. 280 damage on the next turn with the Cram. I don't know. I think this thing's kind of crazy. Maybe I'm overhyping it a little bit. It effectively lets you play like a Radiant Charizard deck while still playing Greninja as well. Like if you have this in here to turn one of your Crams into a nuke at the end of the game, but you have the extra draw power and threat of a Radiant Greninja in the early game, like you got it all at that point. So this is a really powerful tool for Lost Zone decks, I think. Definitely see Lost Zone decks maybe getting some life put back into them a little bit. They're not terrible right now, but they're definitely not what they used to be, and the Crisis Shot might be the big difference maker. Now we are kind of in a situation where this is going to be our January set, and we're not getting our next major set until the end of March, I believe, early April, end of March. So we're kind of in a long format here. We're kind of in a long format with the current Paradox Rift format. Hopefully Crisis Shot shakes things up. Maybe there's some potential for the Great Tusk or the Espathra, but they don't look like they're going to be huge game changers, to be honest. So yeah, get ready for a long format until we get that next major release at the end of March. Yeah, it feels like this always happens this time of year. We have a long format, and to be honest, it kind of sucks, but hopefully the Espathra and Great Tusk pull through for us. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, catch you all in the next video. Peace.